Tina, man. The Dow is negative, down a third. The Q is getting absolutely clipped. They are at the low of the day or thereabouts, down 1.81. The SPY losing as well, down 3/4 in the IWM. Russell 2000 ETF also down into 0.96, but faring the best is the Dow. It's been positive and then negative on the day throughout, so keep your eye out on that. The markets are all bleeding their own blood, and you can see simultaneously, of course, that USO is at the high of the day, 170.1788, as oil moves up and the market down on the back of renewed tensions in the Middle East, sadly. Joey and I will see you guys same bat time, channel. Big boys are that away.
Welcome back, everybody. I love that the red Jays has. It's a good look, man. Keeping Canada up in here. Not everything is down. Not everything is down. Sharif said everything was down. I was just trying to figure out why, of all stocks, we've been talking about crappy IPOs. Well, I shouldn't say crappy IPOs because they were good on the first day, but weak IPOs would be the better way to put it. Figma is up 12% today. Figma? Talking about Figma? I don't know why, but it is. So almost everything is down, but there's some kernels of strength out there if you're able to find them. Let's be real. We mentioned the Warner Brothers story in the middle of the day. That's spiking. It's at the highs, pretty much at the highs of the day as well. So there's a few kernels of strength, despite the market looking very weak.
Yeah, despite the market looking very weak, we do want you guys all to take a look at Oragenics, ticker OGen on the NYSE Americans. The company is now activated its phase 2A clinical trial in Australia with its first fully functional and operational patient dosing expected next. They're developing ONP-002, an intranasal treatment targeting concussion and mild traumatic brain injury, an area where there are currently no FDA-approved therapies. Alongside that, Oragenic has spent the past year strengthening its balance sheet, raising capital, resolving liabilities, and restoring exchange compliance. The focus now shifts to execution, with clinical progress underway and additional CNS assets under evaluation. Please go check them out. It's OGen, and it's all about the concussion treatment protocols. So thanks to OGen. The most recent trade that I have is Apple, and we're doing, like, I don't know, man. We say, you know, you gotta sit down here, make a couple trades here today. What's up, Randy? Hope you're doing well, man. Thank you so much for finally. I'm glad we figured out the whole Sharif Randy sort of fooling around with the temperature thing here, because now we can blame Randy for fixing it. So thank you, Randy, for fixing the temperature. Yeah, but we just went long on Apple right into here. I got out a little bit because I was wondering if it was breaking, but now we're coming right back up to the upside right there. Yo, Randy, what's going on, man? But we're still short SpaceX, which is now $6 in the money, and we're short the Nasdaq. And who would have thought short today? There it is, man. Bang to the short side right there. Apple's still one of the top P&L names on the show, of course. And that was the long that I had, and that was breaking right there. We finally got away from Apple, and now we're long again. So I'm only have two longs today. It's Apple, SpaceX, short right off the open there. SpaceX short. I didn't know if Randy was still there. Short on that break, so that's a pretty easy peasy, lemon squeezy type of trade. And then short the market as well, right off the jump. So we got that. That's what we're doing. And it's pretty good so far moving forward here.
Yeah, there have been a ridiculous amount of shorts. Trump speaking at the Grand Prix event. Well, the Grand Prix is to the downside. Today, I've had one long that's worked, and obviously, before we get to that, SOBR, which I know you guys, a lot of the small cappers are looking at, halted to the downside, just halted down. I feel like this is maybe the third or fourth halt of the day, but it is tapping not significantly lower, but about $1.26. Right now. So it looks like this one will open up lower. There's still a couple of minutes before that 5-minute halt is going to be done. I'm out of silver short, out of SMCI short, out of IBIT short, looking for reloads on a couple of them. As I said, the only thing I'm in is WBD. We're going to go to Adara. I'm thinking reload on this. Basically, you'd think, why is it up when there's bad news? Everybody knew the lawsuits were coming for this. So when it happened, it was a sell the new kind of event, which meant it actually buys. So I'm going to look to buy the dip again here in front of the volume-weighted average price. I'm down to only 10%, but that was running into the highs. You got to find that relative strength where you can, and we always find our strength by going to Adara at the desk.
Keep an eye on GM. President Trump just lavishing some praise on the company here at this Grand Prix event for Freedom 250, the 250th anniversary of America. President Trump welcoming the president of GM, whose name I believe he said was Mark Boyce, and then said, quote, "Say hi to Mary for me," referring to Mary Barra, the CEO of GM. He said that they just bought a whole bunch of Escalades, and apparently that they think GM is trying to get into defense. So interesting look here for GM, not really moving too much, but just be aware. Now, separately, more comments here coming related to Trump. They're coming from Iran. We have comments here from Ergachi, the foreign minister of Iran, saying that, quote, President Trump's 20% Hormuz tariff charge is too much. We know that President Trump announced today that the U.S. wants to be, quote, the guardian angel of the Strait, which Iran has already said that they're not comfortable with, and that, as such, he wants to charge that 20% toll here for some of these shipments coming through the Strait. If we get more details, we'll keep you posted. I'm seeing some comments here coming from CENTCOM in terms of, or not CENTCOM, sorry, the military or the joint forces in terms of how they want to implement some of this. But if I get anything more concrete, I'll keep you posted.
Yeah, GM Defense is, you know, it's not like the biggest division that they've got going on, but it is another lever that GM can pull, whether it's fuel cell technology or like there are some military vehicles that they produce as well. So there's a lot they have going on there. The interesting thing about GM right now would be its 200 period moving average. This is on the cusp. Like you'd like to see it hold on here, hold the 2, break the 50. I think that would be a good sign for you. But man, that you lose that 200 period moving average, it's probably going to be the kind of name that actually gets interesting for a short if that were to happen, at least in the short term. Good looking stock. I like the angle there, but hasn't been performing that well. And maybe, I don't know, you get the mention with the president when you're at the low of the day. Crazier things have happened, but I'm not really even seeing any volume spike there. So maybe we can't lift that one higher, Mr. President. But if you can, 76.85 would be an interesting breakout play. You can't look at this market without the context of what's going on here in USO. Man.
No, I don't like that.
8%.
We were actually talking about that. The final 4 teams. She just told me that it might expand even more.
Money. Of course they'd expand it more.
Course. But I was saying to Neil earlier, it's funny because the top 4 teams still made the final 4. So it's like no matter how many teams we let in, it seems like the cream still rises to the top, which is what's supposed to happen. So, and it's great exposure for all the other teams. So I can't hate on that one, right? So the top 4 ranked FIFA teams, ranking-wise, all made it into the final 4. So shout out to parity, I guess, that maybe potentially doesn't exist there in soccer either, but you know what? That is what it is. Okay, so right into there, man, 143, there's the break. SpaceX right now at the lowest it's ever been. So we're going to wait to see what winds up happening now at 135 now for SpaceX. I mean, there's really nothing else to do. This was a name that we wrote down earlier, and it's right here on the sticky note, of course. The most viewed, piece of sort of media that we have other than our actual stream right there. 6,500 of you viewing today this TQQ short. We're in that one. That's SK Hynix. I'll have to look at that. I haven't traded it yet today. So that's a short right there as well. We'll have to look. SpaceX, we're short that one. And then SoFi we never got involved with. I know Neil took a shot long there, but I didn't try SoFi yet. Maybe let's have a look now to see if SoFi's potentially worth a long. Yeah, no, I mean, I'd like to see us at least break the 200 period and try to get it back over VWAP right there. So SoFi right there, not a great looking trade into the level, but it did give you that VWAP bounce right there on SoFi where, you made a move lower off the open, came back up, and then completely switched course right back to the downside for SOFI. So that name, again, hasn't been through that $20 mark in 7 months. So, we're trying to see if that one has anything behind it there. Robinhood, that's down to 110 as well. So that's going lower there. Looks like they may be able to bounce back from those levels. And then coming up over the next couple of days, of course, it's bank season time and bank season. Yeah. Earnings season. Yeah. Therefore, JP Morgan as it hovers around the top end. So we'll wait to see if JP Morgan can go ahead and, beat. And I think Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, the underwriters of SpaceX and the other was Cerberus and now SK Hynix should be able to at least speak positively about some of those inflows, but you've seen a nice little downside drift in some of these names as well. It looks like they're getting ready to go for me on earnings, and we talked about that earlier today. The XLF might be a nice little ETF, not to hide in, but how to play these earnings, because then you're sort of not worried about guessing on one name, getting it wrong. This way you can sort of play in the patch of all of them. So that's what we're thinking about right now, the XLF. I don't know about taking 137 break short. That's not a horrible plan, but I mean, right now, you know, we go to the gym. Can you see when we got back? Right into here. So we started, well, that's not exactly. We got back more around 115-ish. But we let it fall back in right into 137. We take that fill there. And then we also watch out for the TQs, which here it is. There's where we got back. We starting to fill out there. We did have some lower bids that never got filled yet, but nice little move there on this one. So that's 6 on SpaceX, another 2 on the TQs. So yeah, man, it's $8 in the money right now. And then we're just trying to mess around with Apple at these lows, the only long that I've had all day there with Apple. So yeah, Houston, we do have a problem there with SpaceX today, as it's only going lower right now.
Yeah, absolutely only going lower, and it's a great one. And the percentages are all over the place. I'm like, right now, the only order I have out that is to get more shares of anything or shares of anything is silver. It was just one of those, well, we shorted a bunch of stuff in the morning, and when we were looking at some lows, silver got, SLV, I should say, was at VWAP. So it did lose VWAP, right? VWAP to the low of the day, pretty standard practice. We like to find if we can find it. But now we've got an all-day trend line. Pre-market high lines up with our little VWAP. 1, 2, 3 connects. It's underneath it for the 4th, which gives an opportunity to short it in the 90s, get it out in front of the 52 area, and then that's what we're going to go for here. And obviously, I mean, it doesn't matter like almost anything that you're going to be in. Intel's at low of the day, down 6%. This is a name, it could see that 100 today. But this morning, we were kind of like, you know, it would close at 110 on Friday, and when we're sort of throwing numbers out there, if you get a little bit more granular with Intel, 100's a nice round number, but the actual support's at $97 on this stock. So I think it's got a little bit more to go to the downside. It's another name that I would be looking for some kind of a trend support if we could get it. Random oddities, anyone seeing, well, I like this. Anyone seeing any support possibility SpaceX down here besides the fib at 103? You don't, I mean, you have the issue prices, right? You have the 135 issue price. You can throw Fibonacci's if you like, but one thing you can always do with recent IPOs is you can go to data from the private markets whenever they were doing raises and just look at what the valuation points were at significant funding rounds. And then those can give you some historical prices. So in the gap between, say, 135 and 100 on SpaceX, that's where you might find some key levels. It does require some legwork, but I mean, that's all public stuff out there. You just look at all their big raises. It's all public. You can find it and then just do the math with the, I mean, you don't even have to do the math anymore. I mean, you can literally just put it into ChatGPT. But if you like Fibonacci's, I'm sure, you know, there's crazier things out there that maybe people trying to find some fibs where they could make it work. It's not a fib, but it is FIG. I know the software names are having a big day, but when you're up this much and looking for a reversion, you could do a heck of a lot worse if this thing can break the trend. So I'm going to have that. I'm going to have this one up, at least on one of the charts. I've got silver up here, IBIT and WBD, and then Figma is going to be one of the other ones for potential trend break. But it doesn't really seem like it's going. Like, it's got this nice little pullback here, but what has to happen is throw a head and shoulders up, break down under 23.5, and then look for the move into the volume weighted average price. So, you know, those are the names that I've got on watch here, and we'll see what happens with the market on a Monday. Not a very good start to the week, but we've seen this story before. You get a major IPO, you get some temporary tops, even if technically speaking it wasn't really an IPO. The SK Hynix effectively was it was a big one, and we're talking about billions of dollars that needed to go somewhere, and a bit of a temporary top upward.
Yeah, and what a big trade it was there on. I don't even know if I put it here on the gram here, which is of course X. No, I might not have even put it up. We did take the SK Hynix long right off the jump there on Friday. Just trying to see. Nah, I don't think it. Nah, I didn't even tweet it out. But yeah, that was a very, very good long trade there off the open of SK Hynix. We just treated it like an IPO and really did well off that one. And you know, like I was saying before, we'll see if we can sort of repeat that again. This is actually today. Why is this not? Oh, that's quite right, because it was V.
Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah, that's why. So here, SKHY. So this is what it looks like on a 1 minute chart on E-signal. Of course, they sort of amalgamate the two symbols right there. But yeah, it came out nice and early, which was great, around 11:30. There was the move higher, man. It was a good one. Always wish you had more shares. On every trade that works out well, but still, man, we nailed that one. Then we were able to get even a short into the end of the day to nail that one. So it was just a really good field day for SK Hynix there on Friday. And yeah, I was looking at this that's 170. This morning, I was looking at 155 short because that was sort of right into here, what we had talked about during the pre-market areas of concern there. Now 155 seems to be where VWAP is, so we'll have to wait to see if we can get back lower here. I still really like the short, man. I mean, make the 158. I mean, we're not too far away from possibly pushing that short as well. Give ourselves 50 cents, maybe 60 cents worth of risk. I like this right now for SK Hynix. 158. Is that what I said? What is the price? 158 short? Yeah, 158. So let's see if we can get right into there. Send it to Neil? Nah, no one wants that. Student, we'll do that in a minute. Thanks, Tiffany. Right in here, 158 short coming for SK Hynix. So, yeah, I've been told we got to go to Neil. Let's go to Neil.
I think maybe some mic issues potentially. Yeah, and guys, you know, thank you for the feedback. Sometimes we have some little minor issues with the mics, for sure. I'm actually looking at SK Hynix as well, but before a little bit different of a story. Obviously, anytime you get the press that we saw on Friday, it's going to be a great trade. It was a great trade, the long. The afternoon shorts were also profitable as well, but obviously nothing like the long. Today, in the uptrend, managed to catch a couple of reversions in and through VWAP once or twice, but this is a trend break here if it closes under 157. If it bounces, then I'll just track it. Just keep tracking it as long as it holds the trend line. Once you break it, that's when we want to hit that go for sure. I'm also, like I said, that SLV is starting to get a little bit to the upside. So here's silver finally I shouldn't say finally catching a bid, but catching a little bit of a bid. And as long as, there we go, I got to hit save for these, and then they stick around. As long as we can hold this trend, it's this or VWAP. So up to 52. Up to 52 is what I want to see. And shout out to everyone out there that have been putting symbols in. Andrew Mather, when you're typing in V, don't forget to put the dollar signs in so you can bump it up on our stock visualizer. V is still trying to go. Volume is really tapering off on this runner, but it has been strong all day. It's kind of forming a bit of a head and shoulders play.
Oh, V, yeah. I saw that $12 was really
This is ridiculous. It's $13 from VWAP.
Ooh, the wall.
So like it's a little bit opened up and a little bit crazy. Just understand that almost any major move that it puts in from here is a high probability to halt. So you know, you can't treat it like a regular $28 stock. Forget about a couple of points in this. Like you probably have to give everything like $4 or $5 to try and see if it can break out those highs. But with crude hitting the high of the day just now,
is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's about where to look for some shorts, reloads and some shorts, and SLVs where I'm looking. Let's go up to Adara, although it's not at the desk, it's at the wall.
Indeed, guys, it is another segment of, I'm just going to keep the name for now, to the window, to the wall, where we take a look at a chart window up on this here wall, specifically an infographic chart or image. So my poorly drawn U.S. state map is back because we have to talk about here data center legislation by states. Now, I have to thank someone in the chat, I believe by the name of Green Saber, I want to say, who suggested, hey, Adara, can you look at which U.S. states have sued over data centers? Now, I went a little bit different. What I really ended up looking at here, and I do want to shout out the National Conference of State Legislatures, which is where I found all this data. I wanted to look at which states have tried to introduce some kind of legislation when it comes to data centers. And so this is kind of the status of all of it. So we have 6 states that have introduced a bill that just means like, hey, this is forward here. We want to make this a law related to usually just temporary, like 1 to 3 year moratoriums on data centers. Then you've got one state here, that's Maine, the tip of the iceberg, quite literally over there. That's where you had a bill vetoed. So that means it passes all the necessary stages, but a top executive, usually a governor, says, nope, that's not going to be a law. Bye-bye. Then you have 6 states here that have actually, failed to pass this. So the bill makes it through some stages, but, at some point just ends up dying or isn't carried through. Then you have one case here where this actually continued. So basically that means that, at this point, they have, it was supposed to expire at a certain point. This is my understanding, but it'll continue on for the time being. So it's kind of been stayed more or less. It could have ended, but it's going to continue for the time being, that law. And then you actually have one where it's passed. That's going to be this great state of New York, which actually looks like we passed some data center legislation there. Specifically, I believe a 1-year moratorium on data centers above a certain amount of megawatts. Now, what is interesting here? What do you see when you look at this map? Well, what I see is a lot of these legislations are concentrated over here on the East Coast. A lot of them on the the tip of the East Coast here. You have some kind of in this mid-east area of the U.S. Like the most west that you get here really is going to be South Dakota. You have Oklahoma also, again, kind of in its own little range here when it comes to these, I guess, states that are pursuing data center legislation. But yeah, I thought this is really interesting. I do want to shout out once again that individual in the chat, I believe Green Saper, who suggested an infographic like this. I have another visual coming out tomorrow that just really takes a look at, just by state, each of these different types or statuses of legislation that each of these bills have passed through, data center related bills. So I thought this is pretty interesting. Hope you guys liked it. If you have any feedback, if you have any other infographics that you want to see, any different topics you want me to cover and research, I'm literally always open and always taking notes. So definitely tag me there in that chat. You can check out this infographic. It's live now on X at TTV Research. And that is today's segment of To the Window, to the Wall, as you send you back over to the guys.
Die with
113 million shares.
Thank you very much, Dara. And we were actually just talking about that SOBR stock, which is done 200% to the upside with 213 million shares.
Yeah,
Make sure I get that actually right. The weird thing about this one is I've said this before, I have a hard time understanding the very long term for this business. Because it's like if things are eventually going automated, like the more and more you get more automated driving, like you'd think just long term we solve that problem altogether.
No, but I think it's not. It's testing. I mean, you still can't drive.
No, of course you can't.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that this actually can tie in.
In the short term, I think it can be great. I love the concept. But.
Yeah, I think even long term. I mean, I could see it getting, just more everything, just more mechanical, right? Like maybe you do have to, in order to, use full self-drive if you've had a past potential, issues with the law as far as, sober driving or anything. And all of a sudden you need to get into your car, maybe in order to activate some sort of a, through Bluetooth or however they're doing it, you have to activate your full self-drive. Maybe you do have to use some sort of a, mechanical breathing situation here. So SOBR upside, I'm not even sure what the story is, but 213 million shares today for SOBR. FAC there. Short play just halted and reopened back up. This looks like there might have been a few halts here today in FAC. 2.7 million shares for that one as that's going. What's GFUZ? So this is another one. It doesn't look like much going on there. GFUZ. The best one was this, man. At $12, I was looking at this earlier and we talked about it. It really started to ramp up at 12. And if I go over, I'm getting obviously better at, I don't really trade halt names, but getting better at trying to find them out. And I definitely feel like when this was starting to ramp up here and we halted, I could really start to see some of the action off of the level 2 really start to go and the machines get turned on. So, we definitely want to have a look at some of these names as we continue to move forward here with VEEE. Again, beautiful upside take there. We have everything everything for me today has just been working. So I haven't really looked elsewhere, but we should be able to do that and look at bigger names, especially ones that have this kind of volume today. 65 million shares. I got Roblox spiking over here on my mind right now as that's hitting some of the scanners. Yeah, 55. That's near the day's low right now, not spiking anymore, but hitting the scanners down near the lows at 55.50. So this could definitely be a long. I just bought a little bit more Apple here. I only have a quarter of a unit, not trying to do anything too crazy here near the end of the day. All we're trying to do is stack up, man. We've got our, a good P&L so far here today off of this. I mean, the SpaceX short, we just got filled down there at 136.80. So this has been quite the day here. I I'm a broken record, but SpaceX again continues to be top, and I think this is going to be this is my top stock today. So there it goes, man. SpaceX all the way to the downside, and can't not trade this name. I mean, it's doing tons of volume. The action is there. It definitely has momentum, behind it both ways. So we'll just continue to watch out for SpaceX. And then, who's your daddy over here with SKHY? Feel like we'll be right back into this name ASAP as soon as we get a trade going. And it's too bad because I'm sitting here now at 158, but didn't see that earlier. We'll make a lot of money on SK Hynix over the next couple of weeks. Trust me on that one. But for right now, it's just kind of like slow grind here on SK Hynix. And maybe today's not the day, but we'll find some levels on this one and just continue to trade it going on there. Love you too, hangry wife.
Yeah, there's been plenty of opportunities on SKHY. I wonder how well the volume's going to hold up on this. I feel like it should do pretty well because this is not like a SpaceX situation where people can talk about how overpriced it is and whatnot. No, like this is something people have been trying to get exposure to alongside Micron and SanDisk, and its valuation is good. So I think there's still going to be some excitement. That said, it did break the trend. So I jumped in. There's a trend line. There's a prior bar. There's VWAP. So that's the structure of the trade that I'm in right now for SK Hynix. It's about finding spots. Realistically, like so far the scalp shorts have worked on this thing, if we're being real about it. But I just wonder, like it's a better bet. I know I've been pretty bearish on it, despite the fact it's been pretty decent today. 0.6% down is it's a bit deceptive because it gapped down and really there's been a lot of buying on the stock. But when you throw in the fact that Micron trades a single digit PE and these guys trade, I don't know, like a quarter of that, there will be some interested dip buyers, I would think, on SK Hynix. PEs and everything. Memory space is incredibly cyclical, at least it always has been, and no one wants to be caught when the music stops on any of the memory names. Like, I don't care what you're looking at. Micron down 5% today, obviously in sympathy, but we've seen what happens when these go down even for like a little bit. Like people get scared, and then 10% turns into 20, and 20 turns into 30, like right quick. So that is definitely a possibility. But let's be real. As long as the growth continues, every single quarter, they just keep putting up these monster numbers. And if you look at who's actually generating the cash, there's been a bit of a shift. Cash flow growth has been in the memory chip names more so than it has been in the mags who are spend. So there had been some willing dip buyers. And I think at some point, probably come in here and actually think some longs again on SK Hynix. But on day two, I find with any major IPO, I've been like day 2, day 3, favor the short if you can find it as the hype dies down a little bit here. So looking for this one down in the volume weighted average price. We'll see if it gets down there. USO, you got to watch. It might be turning around here. Like at 119.
Oh, wait, that's that high up.
Yeah, like we're already at 119. You have to go back to, what was it, the 17th. So go all the way back into the 17th. Maybe I'll put up like a 60-minute or something that you can even see these levels if it even gets there. But anytime you see parabolic like this, like you start thinking about, okay, so no, let's see 17th? Okay, no, it's the 15th here. So the 15th, the last time we were really trading at this level, and it was about 119 with like 120 and a half at the top. So from a technical standpoint, like you're starting to get to some places where you might think for at least some ringing of the register for any of the short-term trades. So even this is starting to look like it could be a trend reversion. Tons of volume. And remember, just because things close, like when spot closes, it doesn't mean that oil stops moving. But sometimes you do get trend breaks around this time of day. So I'm going to pop the trend line up and have this one on the radar as well. 9% higher.
Yeah, that seems crazy talk.
Congratulations if you bought the Venezuela bottom.
I did not realize that. Or congratulations if you bought it on Friday as well, man.
Or yeah, just then too.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically the levels. We were talking about that the other day, about some of those levels. But hey, man, traders got to trade. And there goes Apple again, man. I mean, we just bought that right there. Okay, Apple. I'll take it out a little bit now. Okay. Nice movement here, guys. We just bought this. There goes Apple again. The two longs. The only long that I've had, today has been Apple, and there it goes. So far, so good on this one as we continue to go higher. And again, just a couple reloads done right for you guys live right here today, 216.25. Another one. Just put that in there on Apple. I don't have very many shares left. And again, you know, my unit is going to be different than Neil's, different than Joe's, different than Shreve's. Everybody has different amount of shares they trade around here. So for me on SpaceX, very little left for myself, but still hovering around 136.85 was our best out. And we'll see here. I'm actually thinking about I mean, I don't really want to get more off the 50. If we do get to the 200, I would consider getting a little bit more there at 138.50. So that could be a spot coming through for SpaceX at some point. Who knows when, if it does get back up there. I'm not going to punch out right here. We don't have enough shares to really worry about it overly. So right now, SpaceX just doing its best that it can to figure itself out right now. And there it comes. Okay, yeah, let's go back there to the downside for SpaceX. And then, of course, the market's still puking all over itself. And this was the #1 trade idea off the sticky note today, was the short there in the Nasdaq. So what else do you guys want to talk about, man? GFUZ, yeah, that SOBR stock. I mean, we're trying to talk about everything for you guys here. Then that SOBR stock, nice move down. And, you know, we're just thinking about what the place is for this stock, but 150 is your 200 period moving average. We touched that today and come right back in off of it. So, you know, technical analysis still remains kind of true here for this particular name. And of course, I'm referring to SOBR. So we'll see where that one goes moving forward now, but a good look there for SOBR today, up 178%. So that could be a good one there. All right, here's a question. What's up, casserole? I like some casserole. Let me put this one up right now. Should you hold your position? Here it is right here. Here's a real question.
Casserole.
I don't know what his name is. I'm just joking around. Oh, it's not up yet. Okay, it's lagging, I just heard. So when it comes up, we'll get that. But here it is. The question, okay, there it is. We got it up.
Oh,
okay. Little lagging. What? This is like my computer over here lagging today. That's for sure. Yeah. Hello. All right. So there it is. All right. By the way, what question? Here's the real question. Should I hold my shorts overnight via options into the banks? No, I don't. Well, the banks haven't really reacted quite well off of earnings, so you do have to watch out for that call. I do think you're onto something there, potentially holding it into that. I don't know if you've made money on them or not. Like I was going to say, depending on who's coming tomorrow. Goldman, I'm not even sure. Adara, who's coming tomorrow? Maybe that will help us.
All of them but Morgan.
All of them but Morgan. Okay, so
that's,
WFC,
Citigroup.
Okay, all of them
GP.
but Morgan. So okay, so I would just say that if you're in the money right now, which maybe you are, there, casserole, then maybe you would think about getting something out at some of these levels. I can't really, you know, hate on that kind of an idea right now as the market's trying to pull back in just a little bit here. So I would say if you're in the money right now, you know, nothing wrong with playing a little bit of house money into tomorrow. That's Goldman Sachs. And, you know, you're talking about rolling them into earnings. The only thing I can say is earnings, you know, nobody's supposed to know what to expect from these things. And if we just go back to the last earnings date for JP Morgan, I feel like it would have been back in February, maybe. I don't know when exactly it was, but there's some nice negative plays here off of earnings, and it's taken a little bit of time to get back to the upside for some of these plays. So I would just say be careful with anything that you're doing heading into earnings, especially with options. They can get pretty expensive. You could hedge yourself with an XLF long potentially if you wanted to, buy a couple of contracts long in something that is potentially hedging yourself there, but you don't want to put too much money into this because anything you make on this, you'd lose and you maybe net it out. But yeah, you know, my opinion for the banks are they're looking set. They look to be primed for a long. I mean, they've pulled back in, maybe not JP Morgan, but some of them have pulled back in a little bit and look to get back to the upside. But yeah, the banks I feel like are one of the hardest things to read. You just want to stay long forever. I put on quite a bigger position on JP Morgan in my own account right here. The last time it touched the 200 period moving average, not the last time. This was back in March. Then we had the tariff tantrum. I was scared for that position, of course, and then it just sort of matured up. So I'm still long JP Morgan somewhere around here, 220 to 230 off the last trade. And I don't have any plans of getting it out, man. Just ride sort of that interest rate and ride that dividend back there to the upside and see if we can, you know, capture some relative strength in the banks, hopefully starting tomorrow as earnings season is upon us. So I do like Citigroup, maybe the best from what I've read there, but yeah, we're not trying to do anything too crazy here today. Just shorting the names. Now Apple is just now it's 50 cents in the money, so we're still going the best we can here today with what we've got. It's Apple, it's Sia at the desk.
Let's take a look at how the markets are doing starting with the three major averages. We have the SPY still in the red, down very close to 0.80%. The triple Qs down very close to 2%. It's down, to be precise, 1.8%. We have the Dow still in the red, down 0.33%, and the IWM down very, very close to 8%. Let's take a look at a couple of things I want to bring up right now. AppLovin, that's APP, is down almost 11.4% on the day, making it its worst performing S&P 500 member to start the week. Now, the decline also put AppLovin on pace for its 6th daily loss in 7 sessions. So, let's take a look at BII, next. Biogen is up 4.6% on the day after Truist has upgraded the biotechnology name, that is Biogen, to buy from hold. Truist has said that the stock could see upside after it releases the latest data from investigational drug trials. Let's go look over there. Finally, we have BRAI, that's Brain Limited. The company is up 42% on the day almost after the company has launched Aria, which is an AI agent that's designed for the real estate industry. CEO Nataraj Balasubramanian has said in a statement that we believe this creates a scalable recurring software opportunity within a global real estate software market forecasted to reach approximately $32 billion by the year 2032. So with that, Brain is up on the day 42.7%.
That'll definitely work. And we're back for a split second there. I did that thing where in Windows, like you shake it and everything minimizes. And the whole idea, Windows, is when you shake, everything's supposed to come back. It didn't. But thank you very much. Lamenting on. I feel like people always hate on Windows for probably good reason. But anyways, just to get back to brass tacks. Well, it didn't take very long to get to VWAP on SK Hynix. Like it broke trend here when it lost to 157. So entered 157. The stop was just above the number. So it wasn't like an even dollar stop, but it was, call it like, I don't know, plus slippage. It was 25 cents a risk, but throw slippage in there. So it's probably more like 40. And then we're able to get like $1.30 on that. So it was pretty solid, but ultimately like it ran through my bid when my level 2 wasn't even up there for sure. I might've missed my chance to reload Warner Brothers. It's already headed higher. I think the mistake was waiting for VWAP when I should just be taking any consolidation if I like the long. So what I'm gonna do here is just add to it there-ish. Here, let me pull that. Someone keeps telling me, center it a little bit more. There you go. So I'm gonna try to add in here in the 35 range and then just tighten the stop. So if I'm gonna move the stop in just underneath 30 anyways, then I can just try to add in the mid 30s and then tighten the stop as we go. So that's the approach I'm gonna try to use here to get back into the high of the day. Like it's a good, like you're talking about a full percentage point to the high. So I think there's lots of room for us to still rally on this bad boy. It's been going counter trend to the market because they've got their own story. But the other thing that works well is if you ever get, like this is not really, like this is a momentum stock because like the deal's up in the 30s. It's trading at such a ridiculous, like it's trading so much underneath like the $31 deal that you're really, it's moving around more than your regular percentages. And when you have something with a wide spread and the market's weak, sometimes it looks a little bit more appealing, right? Because if you think the deal might close, well, then you can close in the gap there. So I'm going to add to it if I can in the 30s. This would treat this like any other momentum stock, which is trending into the upside. We'll see if we can get some kind of a reload in SK Hynix if it does come back into VWAP. But here comes a potential trend break on SLV. So we short in front of the trend line. This is your resistance level right in about here on SLV. So I've been short a couple of times on this. It's basically kind of like the same approach, but one was VWAP and the other was down in here. It's just about sort of taking your shots. I'm not reversing into this long because I'm not really feeling that all that bullish on it. Look at the error message on the, even our screen for a split second, the position board was, yeah, you see the red that just popped up?
I missed it.
But anyways, yeah, so we'll get out of this one if it breaks that trend line. But Warner Brothers, I'm gonna go with the patented, well, I'm moving the stop up, so I'm gonna average in here. Not really much for averaging in, but almost considering it a new trade. I happen to have some shares from earlier, but it's like a new trade that I want to be long in the 30s up top. Michael P. DeRider, because Mike is an alternate personality.
Right.
We'll have to make sure we get them right, because in the morning there is Mike P. DeRider, there's Michael P. DeRider, and there's a couple of other ones in there, which we've had conversations with. The amount of knowledge that I have learned from the show is wild. Well, we appreciate you too, Mike. All of the viewers, I don't know whether you're on, our viewers on TikTok, our viewers obviously here on YouTube, and really small cap traders, large cap traders, options traders out there. We've had Forex traders that are like, I don't even trade equities and I like the show. So we appreciate all of you guys. And let us know what you guys are watching. Here's what I was about to do. I think I was dragging this down. That's when everything minimized. Like I didn't shake it, but I wanted to ask everybody a quick little poll.
Yeah.
So earnings season, I can't even type. Earnings season starting.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is, what scares you the most? So what scares you the most? That's too big. I was just going to earnings season here. What are you the most afraid of? I'm going to go memory. Whoops. Memory. So memory stocks, it can be all of them. It can be the group. Is it oil? Is it software? Or is it AI? And I don't want, look, I could put other topics in there, but I just want to know in general. And AI just means the rest. Oh, you know what? I'll go Mag 7. How about that? Mag 7. So I'm only going to give you guys 4 options, right? So what do you think is the biggest theme in earnings season? If you think the biggest thing we need to be concerned about are the memory chip names, you type 1. If you think it's all about Iran and oil, type 2. If you think it's about the software names, that should be dead last. That'll be type 3. And if you think we're still driven by the Mag 7, then give us a 4. I'm going to actually throw in, you know what? How can it not be about memory earnings? Because when you think about it,
Yeah, oil and software are irrelevant right now, I think.
because some people think the software bounce could be the next story. I think that's where I want to throw it in there. But if memory falters, if any of those names falter this earnings season and don't put up the numbers we're
You
expecting,
don't have AI in there.
it's over.
Is that memory?
You know what? I feel like it's too close to the memory.
yeah. No,
Because the AI tree blows up, it's kind of like the
more
memory name
random.
blowing up
Yeah, I
too.
get you, I get
It's not much of a difference. So let's stick with memory. It seems to me like software is dead last. No one seems to think that can be a bounce or any kind of a catalyst for the markets. But it's pretty even between memory, oil, and the Mag 7. I suppose you could make the argument the Mag 7's about whether the hyperscalers keep spending. And then that's the story.
Yeah.
But man, if Micron misses, if SanDisk misses.
Yeah, and I don't want to say like oil doesn't mean anything right now, but it's just we get so many headlines back and forth every day. I mean, obviously, the market being down 2% today. Not even the market, it's the Nasdaq, right? The ES is, like, think about this. Oil, USO's up 9% today. Okay, the ES is down 0.6. You know, the Dow might not even be down. I mean, the Dow's been just on some crazy other level these days with how that's been moving around. Yeah, it's down 0.3. So with oil being completely rocking today, you know, you're getting some of these other indexes that are doing really nothing. So I would say that, yeah, when you're looking at memory and all that, I mean, I think it's a great poll. So, you know, this is the dog that wags the tail right now, right? And the biggest dog, of course, is Nvidia, and we're not going to get them for a minute. So you're going to be waiting for AMD earnings, waiting for, you know, Intel to show its face, and then you want to wait for the big mega cap names to, Meta. You want these names to get going as well. Meta's been going, but you want to make sure that they can hold some of the momentum here into the earnings reports, right? So that's what I'm doing here with Meta, hoping and praying that they got a good report underneath of them. So we'll see if Meta just continues that CapEx spend, and they may not. And if they don't, then that's the scary part about it as they start to finally, I mean, why would they spend more money on CapEx? We sort of got the story from them the other day that they're trying to build out some more data space, their data centers here in Canada, in Alberta, and now they're going to be selling some of that over compute that they've committed to so far. So if they have too much, maybe potentially not the greatest story there moving forward for Meta, but I still think that's up in the air. And then, you know, to your point about software names, Palantir, and shout out to my good friend Nelson there. I'm proud of you, man. Hopefully this continues to work itself out here. And that, of course, is the oil trade, as Palantir here starts to go back up to the upside. I like Palantir. I was talking with Nelson a little bit about it, and it's just this 125 area. It seems like it wants to hold. But the thing is, you got to be careful with it. I mean, it's got to try to clear over through this 132. I do think Palantir does have runway up to 155. Their report was amazing last time, and it went down. So I don't know, man. It was one of the reports that Alex Karp, who's a a madman himself, so he and I are probably good together. Alex Karp had said it was like the best quarter he'd ever seen, and I think that was up here around 194. He might have said of any tech company ever.
He did.
And then that move's been rated the downside. We have Mr. Michael Burry there, infamously still famous for his housing short there. He's made many mistakes, obviously. I think probably more mistakes than he's done right, but he's still short Palantir and some of the other software names as far as I know there. So I think that's been a great trade, obviously, to the short side. And yeah, just predicting that software was going to have a little bit of a, moment, I think has been right there. And, you've seen names like Salesforce and whatnot get to the bottom of it. But another name that, I had mentioned here at 108 about Lululemon and just thought that, maybe that was somewhat of a kitchen sink there when it came back in. It would have gone, if you took that 108, it would have gone against you down to 104 or so. But now Lululemon finally trying to say, get that garbage out of here. And we'll see. It's still got to break this level here, 135. But it's not looking horrible now. I know it's only 3 straight up days, but at least it's trying to go. It just finally took out its 50-period moving average. Look, we haven't been above the 50-period since all the way back to the beginning of the year in January. So I know that there's been some, calls that we made in January that definitely have not turned out very well. I'm glad I don't have Lululemon as part of that one, but if we can get above the 50-period moving average and right into there, take it and hold it, that's what we're trying to do right now with this candle. So a couple wicks higher, we haven't closed above the 50-period. Like that's not even a close. I guess that would have been right here this day, but I'm not sure where the 50-period would have been at that time. Really, you got to sort of go back to November. So you're trying to go back almost like 8 months there before you saw like a real run in Lululemon, and that was once we finally closed above it. Looks like, pretty easily. So that's back in November, all the way to the upside into 220. Now you're getting it at half price down there at 120. So I know Sharif and I, we wear Lulu. I've got it on. Got the socks right now for sure on, and I like the product. It's been beat up, man. I mean, Under Armour. I mean, check out Nike. I think they were on a little bit of a run.
Small run.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So you're getting 3 or 4 days back-end trading right here. But actually, that's $40 a 4. That's 10% up. So, yeah, Nike's probably beating some of these other names. Wish I was in Nike rather than Marvell since June 30th. But, yeah, nice move upside there for Nike, up 10%. Not bad. SpaceX still hovering around. TQ still hovering around.
Nike could break out, actually.
Yeah, I hope so. And then right there, we're almost out of all of Apple, by the way. So it made that move. We actually took most of it out right here at 317 there on Apple. But yeah, just waiting for something else to happen here. I don't know, man. The Nasdaq's pretty slow right now. It's only 247. Yeah. Maybe some of these halters will start to move again. I don't have anything moving. Like SOBR, nice move down here. I don't know where the halt bands are on this one, but we still got a little bit of ways to go here on SOBR as it's dancing around. Maybe that $1 holds or doesn't. Like that's a good break right there to the downside, as we know that companies and shareholders panic when you get dollar breaks, because if you stay underneath $1 for whatever that time frame is, 90 days or whatever it is, you're going to get that warning from the Nasdaq to say you got to get above $1 or you get back down into the pink sheet. So we're going to watch out for that VWAP hold of $1 right there on SOBR. Yeah, man, happy birthday to everybody whose birthday it is out there.
Yeah, Beyond Meat's an example of that.
Yeah, is that still at 68 cents?
68, 63.
Yeah,
soon to be.
It's a pretty good call.
Soon to be 50.
Yep, probably.
Then to be, oh my goodness. Then to be reverse split again, I suppose. It's so weird that we actually get people that are interested in trying to pick bottoms on like the worst stocks of all time. Buy the dip on things in an uptrend can be a lot better way to play it for sure. All right, I gotta make sure I get all my pages up because I just saw a super chat up here and it's Ronnie Boy. I don't know if this is working. I'm gonna try it now, see if things are fixed. I think they are. Ronnie Boy, yeah. We appreciate the super chat. The context that we have to keep things to, and again, we'll shout out at everyone if you send a super chat in here, and ultimately, we try to keep it apolitical. But the reality is, regardless of what you might think, there's 2 things that I'm pretty sure everybody should be happy about if they happen. Actual, reasonable, normal traffic in the Strait of Hormuz, and no troops on the ground or further escalation.
Yeah, it'd be bad. Right?
Like, as far as I'm concerned, one of those things we have yet to happen, which has been a pretty good sign. The other one, if it's not resolved by the next earnings run, I don't know what's going to happen to oil, because they were already saying if things don't get back to normal by this time, that we should already be seeing a much more significant spike than this, and what will happen to Europe and yada, yada, yada. And of course, what's going on with China, things are only okay with China because they stockpiled like crazy going into this. I mean, like absolutely crazy. Their reserves bigger than the US's by an order of magnitude. And really, you extend this even further. Maybe that's a plan. Maybe they just want to choke them out. I have no idea. But I think at the end of the day, everybody wants peace. But all of us want cheaper oil. I promise you that. Yeah, there goes that SLV. You win trend break 1 on, well, WBD was a trend break, I suppose, as well. Same thing over there with SK Hynix every time I've taken it. But this one, see, clean trend break, get out, wait for the volume weighted average price. That's what's going to be next. I did get the reload on WBD, although I'm kind of, the way I see it, it's more of a, this is a new trade buying this dip. It doesn't really matter that I had shares in here, like left over. This is a new trade that I'm basically giving to this low. So relatively tight stop, because there's a 0.5% between there and VWAP. So I want to make sure we're giving it a relatively tight stop on this bad boy. We're going to go up to Sia at the desk, I believe, for a small cap recap. I think.
Thank you so much, Neil. Yes, you're right. It is the small cap segment. Let's take a look. IWM currently down very close to 2%, still maintaining a bit of a bearish momentum on the day. Let's take a look at 3 individual tickers for now. We have CNXC, that's Concentrix, that's up 13% on the day. Corporate services are picking up momentum for this particular ticker and company. And it's also released its sustainability report a couple of days ago, and they are one of the top 5% that have received a star and earn a medal for the same. The company is up 13% on the day. FIG, Figma, is up 11% on the day. Just 2 days ago, we had the CEO of Figma saying that he's never been more bullish as the AI versus design momentum and debate continues to intensify. We have TCBK. That's Trico Bank shares up 11.2% on the day. This ticker is soaring after First Hawaiian Incorporated has announced that it will be acquiring the company in an all-stock purchase transaction valued at approximately $2.02 billion.
Thank you, Lucia. I'm going to throw this up here just because, thank you for the super chat, Blundercorp. But you know I didn't say $20 for Beyond Meat, okay? Appreciate the super chat. I know you're joking. You know you're joking. Just want to make sure everyone understands that that is just some humor. I'm going to make the assumption. The only people that think Beyond Meat are going to $20 are maybe insiders that know that they could do a reverse split that big, I suppose. Or,
well, yeah, they could go like,
yeah, they could. I mean, it's 60 cents. Like, they could do a ridiculous reverse split, and then you would see the price of $20, but the value's not going. I mean, 8 times. I don't think so. Maybe the CEO's moms or something. I don't know. Come on. No, absolutely not. There's better. If you're looking for squeeze plays or like shot plays, like if I'm betting on, we've had this conversation before. Here. If I'm saying there's a stock that could potentially go to zero that I actually like, SMR. That chart stinks. The stock could be headed to zero. They might never actually make money. But you know what? I'd much rather have them than Beyond Meat, because I can see something that takes them exponential. Whereas I don't know that you can say that about Beyond Meat. I have nothing against Beyond Meat. I don't know. That's just the way I see it. Also, SMR is not really a penny stock yet, so you're not worried about delisting here. That's it. It is making, dang, it made another, it just keeps on making 52-week lows every single, once a week it'll make a 52-week low. But when this breaks the trend, I want to look to be in it again. So, you know, there's always a better play out there for like a shot play. Even like some quantum names might be better bets if you're just looking for like long-term hero stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these are just meme stocks. So when you're looking at GameStop,
it's
or
not
AMC
even one
or
anymore.
Anything like that, you know, you just got to be ready for it. Watch out for D-Nut and things like that. All right, so you know, on to real trading again here. 137.50 coming through on SpaceX. So you know, we take another fill there as it starts to go back up. And the reason why I say real trading is we want to remind everybody that this is the #1 selling book here on Amazon. It's real trading. You got to go grab it right now. It's only $1. I was actually just looking at it right there on Kindle. So if you are interested in grabbing this one, go grab it immediately on there. This is Daniel Schleffer, the guy that started it all here at Real Trading, talking about how us here hitting keys are, compliments to what's been happening out there. You need to have some real ideas to come through and some human insight. So if you've been fighting the markets algorithmically or whatever, check this book out, man. It's Real Trading here. This is the rise of the stock market is for algorithmic trading and faster keyboards and everything like that, but you still need that human insight. So go check it out. It's 99 cents for the entire month. So get onto Amazon right now. The #1 book, man. I mean, this promotion is running through August 10th. Go find it for $1. I mean, if you have a Kindle, you might as well grab that. It's Real Trading. And it's a pretty good one, man. Why stock markets will always need a human touch. So yeah, I think it's pretty good. I haven't gone through the whole thing yet, but not too bad at all. When we complement the technology, and we talk about here the different order types, everything like that. And I mean, it's like I've had my biggest days of my career right here in front of you guys on SpaceX. We had a big day on SK Hynix as well there on Friday, and I didn't have anything to do with mechanical trading there. We just took the long opening print and able to get out of it and then work around the various ideas that we have. So obviously we talk about Citadel and all the money that's being made through that kind of a trading avenue, Robinhood and whatnot. But there still is definite need for that human touch. I mean, look at these trades that we put on. There's nothing here but me looking at levels every single day. There's SpaceX, $5 or $6. And if you guys watch the show on the regular, we're doing this, as often as we can, at least trying to, right there. The break of Apple in the morning at 3:20, being able to sit in front of a level 2 and watch this go and, know when to hold them, know when to fold them, things like that. Shout out there. And now all of a sudden Apple's $1 in the money, so there's a lot of money to be made here just by doing what we're doing. And I want to thank everybody for watching and go support not only the show, but the book as well. I mean, the show doesn't get any kickbacks, but this is Real Trading. We're on a Real Trading floor. So what's up with Daniel and everybody else there? Go and grab it and let me know in the chat if you have any positive experiences reading this book. I mean, 99 cents.
Yeah, let me know what you take away from it.
Like less than,
it's a good read.
The price of a cup of coffee. Obviously, you get this book. So if you have a Kindle, go grab it. Otherwise, I'm reading on here $29 US right there. So go grab this book, published by Forbes. You want to go get it. It's Real Trading. So shout out right there.
It's a great deal. And again, I'll say it was a good read. So, and obviously biased being interested in the markets, but if you're here, then you're interested in the markets. It's that simple. And if you are, understanding structure and why things work the way that they do, Daniel is an expert on that. Zero questions asked. Absolute expert on it. No questions asked. Speaking of SK Hynix and IPOs, I know this isn't traditionally an IPO, right? But you guys know what we're talking about here. The ADR, it doesn't seem to even want to retest this volume weighted average price. We got out at VWAP, but I think a pop back into the volume weighted average price. Any bump now just sort of has this going on here. Keep moving it over. Just every time you flip stocks, it goes back. But any bump to VWAP, or maybe even just holding this trend line. Like if we can just hold the trend line and then flat bottom break. So hold the trend, have any kind of a flat bottom break, that'll look like a good one as well. Thomas Kondo, BBAI thoughts, thinking of going long if below $3. I haven't pulled that one up in a while. We were talking about this with SMR. Like in the chat, someone said, oh, they're waiting for $6 on SMR. And I was like, well, I was thinking my hat size, and the more I look at the trend down, I don't know how much I still want to do that. Like, I'll just wait for it to break the trend. On BBAI, $3 is literally the 52-week low, so you have that theoretical support down there, and then you've got 250. What has happened, though, is look at the bottoms. Like, okay, look at the stock when it's made a bottom. There's the low, there's a higher low, there's it regaining the 50-period moving average. So when it's in a downtrend and it regains a 50 period, it basically gives you a consolidation setup long. There's it making a fresh low, coming out of a downtrend, holding the 50 period, and then you have a consolidation long. Like you can just be in it here without catching the bottom. Now, obviously, when it does it here, it's the 200 period instead of the 50, right? Like it's downtrend there, it never holds the 50, it does it off the 200 period moving average. And then here again, off the 50 period, it's good. Now, does it always work? No breakout there. Obviously, at that point, it's still in the downtrend. But most of the time, it's literally breaking the downtrend, putting in higher lows when it goes. I think that's most stocks that end up like this. where they have the opportunity to go 2-3x, like I was saying with SMR. It's the same story. Sure, it might be good, but I'd rather wait. Wait for it to show bottom, make higher low, hold some moving averages, and then go. You miss out on, this was $11 to $18.50. So you miss out on a boatload of that trade, and it still goes 3x. So I'll take that. So that's the way I look at all of these falling knives. If you're catching them on the way down, my approach is always the same, unless I just think that I don't care. I want to own this for the long term, and it's not any kind of a shot play. It's not the same thing as dollar cost averaging into Apple, in my opinion, but that's just me.
All right. Yeah. No, I mean, Apple's a completely different.
Yeah, well, I use it as an example.
Apple and BBI. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't mind the $3 level. You've been getting questions on BBI for a minute. It's that stock is broken. All these stocks right now go to the downside. When Palantir can drop from 220 to 120, a real earnings, real company, a lot of love for them. What are you supposed to do? I'm going to get out pretty much now, I think, on Apple. I mean, we've really run the gauntlet on this name. It's been a really great trade. 316.74. We'll get out if it breaks through that. So 316.74 right now. We'll see what the damn. Did I just get filled on something? No. Okay. I already went out, and all of a sudden my screen flickered a little bit there. The name that I thought we missed on the low side of things was Alibaba. I mean, Alibaba came in there into $90, and then it had its day in the sun a little bit. Nice upside move. And if you had your day in the sun, you're definitely having some days around here. Joe's about to go tarps off tonight, so get ready there. Get on Lakeshore right now. Watch this man go crazy there as there's beautiful weather. Yeah, exactly. Maybe even right now, Joe. I mean, I don't know. Well, we don't know how the ratings we need on this show. But there it is, breaking through 115 is Alibaba on Friday, but coming back in. So we wait to see if there's a gap fill up into 120. Again, any movement down on Alibaba, I think this is one of those names where we could definitely get around buying. So I think next time we're down in this area, I want to buy some Alibaba. And I don't want to load into it because I don't love the Chinese aspect to it, but I do like the fact that it's going to be a cheaper look there on building of the hardware. And then, using, again, they don't have a problem using CXMT memory like Apple does. They don't have a problem using different alternatives to Micron or, some of these American companies that are going to be just higher prices. So I think Alibaba can win. But wow, man, this Apple right now it's $1. Now we're clubbing as that's starting to go back up to the upside now again and try to break longer. Obviously, pretty much all of the shares were out at 317. So I don't know if he has the Austin 316 over there, but we're on Sean 317 right now. And there it goes, man. Nice move higher for Apple right there. I didn't want to, Conor McGregor myself, just come right out, kick and then kept falling down and eventually just have to make my $15 million after a minute and 9 seconds. But hey, man, that's what the fuck. I thought he did get it. Oh, he doesn't get it. Okay, I thought he did get it. I saw that was his payday reported there. But yeah, anyways, big move upside there for Apple. I don't know if you saw that fight or not. You had to stay up till about midnight there.
No, when it comes to the fight game, I always just watch it to pick it up the next day.
Yeah.
That being said, I thought I'm in the camp of believing that he actually probably had an injury. Because the other thing too is
that's what I think too,
when you juice up, you do sort of get a little bit more injury prone. If we're being real about it, that is one of the side effects.
I don't know how UFC drug tests.
Well,
I don't know. I have no idea. What is it?
WASADA, but
what is that?
I'm a track and field fan, so I understand very well the whole notion of, well, if you're in certain sports, if you're not cheating, you're not trying to a certain degree. So I'm always skeptical of a lot of the testing.
Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I don't know. If I look into the smell test is okay, it seems like it, and maybe he didn't. I don't know, but I tend to believe he was probably.
I don't think he looked that jacked up. I mean, I saw him before. He looked bigger before, obviously. So we'll wait to see what's going on there. But yeah, I am going to ban anybody that has a negative name on the chat. I'm banning them. So I just
get the ban hammer.
No, I'm just letting everybody know. So if they want, people are like,
I like the funny ones.
This chat. The funny ones are something different.
Yeah,
but anything that's racial or anything like that, or talking about different things. I'm going to get rid of them ASAP. I don't have time for that. So we'll watch out for that. But right now, I mean, look, I wish we could talk more about halt names. This is a halt scanner that we have, and it's built here by Real Trading off our P8 system, which we're using right now. And make sure, I saw some people said they got that book and they really enjoyed it. So go get the Real Trading book one more time. You buy it twice, buy it for yourself and your best friend. We don't have anything halting here. This is the last couple names. So FAC, SOBR. But see, this is 14. So you're at an hour ago right now. So we can have a look back. We will take a look at SOBR. I mean, that one's done 230 million shares. And yeah, it was on its march into $1 again, and you just popped 10%. And I know 10% may seem like nothing because it's up 175%, but that was a nice move right there into 110. You could take, even if you take something small, 1,000 shares, something like that, then what you're going to wind up doing is if you just took 10 cents on that's a hunch. So buy dinner tonight, right? Go treat your lady to, a nice steak dinner and get some shrimps on that Barbie. You can make a little bit of money back and forth right there. And I want to thank Joe again for, letting me know about Farm Boy, because obviously I didn't know about it before I met Joe. But go in there, grab some beautiful steaks and all of that there. Thanks, Joe, man. I really appreciate that. But upside right there for SOBR. So go get a little bit of love in your life and cook for your loved one. I think cooking is amazing. Way to show some support. And, that's the thing. Like, I'm lucky enough to go home every night pretty much and have a nice cooked meal. I wonder what tonight is. We had Chinese food yesterday, which, of course, we didn't make. That was my mom's birthday. And
yes,
she wanted Chinese food, and we had a great time there and everything. So it was fantastic there. So shout out to my mother, Deborah. And,
nice.
Your grandmother's name? Nice. Yeah, the best ladies are named Deborah, it seems like. So shout out to Deborah, and what a great time we had there last night. And man, my kids are getting huge. Every time my parents see my kids, they're like,
we ended up with butter chicken when we did Chinese.
Oh, good, man.
I wanted the General Tao, but
oh yeah, we got some General Tao.
We ended up with butter chicken, but it's fine. Like Chinese, when you want Chinese food, you want Chinese food. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, I was actually trying to help myself. I only had the one plate. Generally, you go back for more. I saw Baxter, my 24-year-old. The man literally just like, thank God I only went back. I didn't go back.
One plate.
No, the plate was, so we got 9 different dishes.
You ate one plate of food? You ate Chinese food and you ate one plate?
That's what I'm saying. I was like, my kids were just eating it all. I was like trying to save some leftovers for Grandma and Grandpa over here.
Impossible.
But yeah, just but it was a lot of food anyways on that one plate. The thing is, my kids are very specific on what they eat. Like, my son needs to order chicken. Like, I'm doing all the ordering, so I had to add chicken wings on there. And, although Chinese food, chicken wings actually pretty tasty. I don't know what kind of fat they use there, but they're pretty tasty, needless to say.
In my life, I've never only had one plate of Chinese food. Ever.
I know. That's what I was saying. How
in my life.
But I did have 2.
Minimum 2.
I did have 2 fortune cookies.
Minimum 2.
So anyways, right there, short SNDK all day, Sean style. Okay. Whatever your style is, but there it is, easy peasy. Get the book Dark Pools, HFT for poor executions. Yeah, well, I went to Laurier, and
that's a good book.
Yeah, that was there was the other guys there that ran.
Brad.
Yeah, you're right. Katsuyama there. So, and a couple of those guys, released a book, and I forget what that one's called. It's not Flash Boys.
Dark Pool is a good book.
Must be similar.
Flash Boys is a good book as well. And again, like we're saying, I would say Real Trading in the same vein. Like, they're really important reads. I'll be the first to tell you.
There, I just lost memory again.
Sean and I had our trading floor, and I'll never forget when we had traders that were talking about. They were like, I swear someone's front running orders and this and that. It's like, I think this is happening. It feels like this is happening. And this is like at least a year or 2 before the book came out. And then you found out that it was all true. And then sometimes you had to start. Now here we're fortunate because we got plenty of different order types at Real Trading to allow us to get better fill, but it wasn't true for all of retail. And then if you're not paying anything, you're the product. Everything changed when they went to zero commissions. But one of the other things that trading allows you to do is the opportunity. Sometimes if you're retail, it's like, yeah, you don't have PDT anymore, but you make one trade and that one trade has to work. And I think a lot of times what the best part of trading might be is you can have a thesis. As long as you can have a thesis, a bias, whatever it might be, but there could be like multiple. I only traded this twice, but you could break out at the open, buy the dip in here, and then buy buy this trend break, and just simply try every single pullback to buy if you're bullish on something. But then you keep the loss relatively small, and then you try to hold the win for the top. That's what you want to do in trading. But I think what a lot of traders, they try to, it's almost as if, they don't want to find their lane or find a strategy, right? It'll be, oh, what stock is hot today? What is everyone else trading? I'll just do that for today and I'll do that for tomorrow. If that's what works for you, where you're constantly just, what is the highest volume name or what is the highest volatility name, and jumping around, you've got execution strategies that work for you, fine. But I think you have to find your identity as a trader. Do you do better trading? Maybe you do better trading small cappers. Maybe you do better trading Mag 7. Maybe you do better trading ETFs. Or maybe you just do better looking for specific entry types. To me, reversions, pullbacks on trends, where you can find your quick in and out, and your risk to reward is going to be good. But you got to make sure you find your style as a trader, because it's a hard enough business out there. And it's even harder if you don't have good resources like our desk, and we're going to jump to one of them with Sia.
The SPY is down 0.71% at the moment. Let's take a look at how the sectors are performing right now. Electric tech, we have leading rather poorly, not strong. Nvidia sliding more towards the downside as we speak, down 3.35%, whereas Apple maintaining the same levels and momentum as it has from earlier in the day, up 0.57%. We have AVGO, MU, AMD, INTC, KLAC, Dell, SNDK, all continuing to slide towards the downside. MU has extended its losses, down 5% on the day. SNDK is also sliding closer to 13.5% as well. We have Dell down 2.8%, TXN also down 4.5%, very close to 4.5%. In tech services, you have Google trading flat. Meta is down 1% on the day at the moment. Microsoft has gained a little bit from earlier in the trading session, up 2% on the day. Oracle's down 5.5%. We have Netflix and Palantir up in the green. Netflix is up 1%. Palantir is up 2%. IBM is up 0.7% at the moment. And PNW up 0.63%, relatively flat. Finance, you have BRKB, Visa, MasterCard in the green. BRKB inching closer to 1%. JPM is a bit flat at the moment. We have MSGS. WFC is flat at the moment. It was a bit into red earlier in the day. It's reversed its losses, so that's a little bit of a good look over there. You have Citi down very close to 1% as well. And retail trade, you have, Robinhood also in finance, a name to call out, almost close to 2% to the downside. Let's also take a look at producer manufacturing. You have that continued bearishness from earlier in the day. Again, AMAT is down 5%, LRCX is down 6.4%, GEV down over 4.5% at the moment, and CAT down 2.3%. Retail trade, you have Amazon, Walmart, Costco, all well above 1%. You have Home Depot continuing to slide 1.6%, and TJX still flat on the day. You have consumer durables, Tesla continuing to slide closer to 4%. Made, I would say, a little bit of a reversal, not too much. Not consumer non-durables, you have KO and PG up. KO's up 1.2% and PG's up 0.84% to be precise at the moment. Health tech, you have a bit of flatness in health tech. You have a bit of flatness in the bigger names like Lilly, ABB, V, and MRK. But J&J is a little bit towards the green, considerably flat. Energy minerals, you have bullishness throughout that sector. You don't want that sector to be fully bullish, but it's bullish. XOM up 4.2%. You have CVX up 3.1%. That entire sector seems to be one of the strongest performing sectors of the S&P 500 for today on Monday. Process industries, transportation, a bit of flatness throughout these two sectors, as well as utilities here. I'm seeing a bit of green in utilities. CEG is up 2%. TRGP is also up 2% on the day. Non-energy minerals, you have NEM down 2%, FCX and CRH also down more than 2% on the day. Finally, for communications, TMUS, VZ, and T continue to be bullish on the day, whereas Echo still holds the bearish momentum, bleeding its own blood, down 3.8%.
Bleeding its own blood. I like that one. All right, guys, speaking of bleeding blood, we're going to just do a little update here. Thank you, Hangry White, for reminding me. So the CBOE is actually now offering options in the pre-market that will go from 7:30 in the morning to 925, just around the imbalances. Now, it's only on extremely liquid assets. Obviously, the names that have 2 days to expiration, you'll see those being traded in the pre-market now. So we'll keep an eye out on some of that data coming into play. And then also, as for SK Hynix, as of July 14th, it will be optionable. All right, I just wanted to let you guys know that. And thank you, Hangry Wife, for reminding me. Send it back to the boys now.
Good look there, Joe. And speaking of options, I want to say it's tomorrow, and we'll ask Dare if that's true, that SK Hynix will have its first of the leveraged ETFs that are going to be available, correct?
That is correct.
Yes.
At least as far as what I've seen.
There you go. I'm only saying it because Adair was the one that told us on Friday. So I'm just repeating what Adair already said. So that should be, whether or not those are what you want to trade, usually, I don't know the tickers off the top of my head, but usually probably like a 2x bear, 2x bull. So for those that don't want to pay for locates, there's probably a way that you can express the short tomorrow for free. 4 missiles have reportedly hit areas near Concentrix and a U.S. aircraft in the airspace over the city of Concentrix.
Sounds great.
Yeah, so that sounds good. What's USO at a bajillion now? No, still at 118.
Yeah, the market doesn't really care.
Yeah, the market does. USO basically still sideways, I suppose. But that tit for tat, it hasn't been good. Like, we're juiced up here today. I know we've been talking about steroid references for some reason. We're on the brain after the Conor McGregor talk. No, we're still in breakout stage. Like, once we took out 115, it was all explosion. We haven't really pressed through the next level. That might be a tomorrow thing here for USO. And this morning, I was telling you that you didn't get follow through with a lot of the oil names. Well, follow through now. Oxy breaking back out, XOM going ham, CVX, fresh off the Venezuela levels and now bouncing. So probably about, close to 10%. From the, we closed after the gap up on the Venezuela day, and the bottom was 164. We bounced at exactly 165, so 10% up. Ooh, and at the 50-period moving average. Could be a little turnaround level to look for a scalp tomorrow on CVX. And shout out to our viewers over there on TikTok. Art Gallery, I love them. Our community just tiered up. Community tears up every single day around here. So shout out to you, Art Gallery.
Yeah, it's over there on TikTok. And
Holla. Appreciate it.
We want to make sure that everybody understands that we do have TikTok right here as well. There's Yeti right there. He wants to talk about battles. So we have a consolidated feed. So shout out to our good friend Fabian. Well, I haven't seen him here today. He's not here today. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. No Fabian here today. Right there. But yeah, everybody, it's all joined up right here. So no matter where you are, whether or not you're voting on one of those polls, whether or not you're, trying to get our attention or not, we have them all right here. So YouTube, TikTok, right there. So shout out to everybody. And glad to hear that we tiered up right there. Save Man Woman says SNDK. Yeah, wow, always a great short at 2K. It's nowhere near there, I'd imagine, right now. But we can go over and have a quick look at SNDK, unless it is up there. Let me have a quick little look, SNDK, to see what's going on here with it. Yeah, 1,600, that's what I was thinking. SNDK looks like another great trade there today. And we got this from Easy Peasy, who said he was short all day, like your boy. So we want to say thank you for that one, Easy Peasy. I'm glad that you're able to hold on to some trades. And that's one thing I've been noticing. It's like, you get these moves, and that's why we held that Apple trade early on this morning, right? And we actually got out of Apple. Apple did make a move right back down in, but that's what this trade was all about. And this is what really set the tone for me right there today is that breaking it and waiting for that $3, trying to get to the upside. We didn't even get anything out there until it was 60 cents and then more than $1 there, $2, $3 upside. Then it faded out and we just scalped. We got stopped out basically 3 times right here, but not before taking a little bit of profit. So all the money made on the first run, but then this is the thing about that trade, Mr. Easy Peasy, as well as anybody else listening to me, which probably is not many, but this little break higher right there, that's like what you're looking for with the momentum. And then when it gives it up, you do want to make sure you have stops because, now it looks like the short, would have been the way better play here in the market. And just as a good example right here, right? We're taking Apple off these lows and I didn't even didn't even pay attention to it. We could have had we could have another long right there. You want to talk about opening range breaks. You want to talk about support and resistance, what kind of style of trader you are. I'm every style. I don't really have a specific style, but I do like support and resistance, especially late in the day, right? I mean, this break there, key level break 320, I think you got to be on top of that. And I think you got to try to trade strong names when you see them come down to strong levels. So right into here at 316 has been holding all day. That also goes, we talked about the opening range. That comes right back into some of these levels as well. So sometimes if you sort of dig far enough, you can find trades like this. But, you know, be certain, man, that like if I'm long down here, this is my stop, right? Like these little breaks and these little moves down, this is where you have to stop out, or else, you know, problems like right into here. This is again, you know, one of those trades where we're in this one at 932 on again an opening range break down right there on a name that we were very red on. You know, we talked about SpaceX to the short side. So there's the opening break. There's the short. So, you know, if we're here to make money, let's make that money and take it to the downside. And look, sometimes it'll bounce around and break higher. That's not going to be the trade for me, right? I'm trying to withstand pressure from this name, and sometimes you'll get bumped back up. That's why when you're looking at a trade, try to figure out where your outs are so you can size accordingly, and then boom to the downside. And we did pretty good on this one, still holding SpaceX. I'm waiting for that 135. Like we did get 136 there. We've taken a few more outs on the way, but yeah, this is an all-day hold for me, and we're going to wait to see if it does print us down there at 135. I'm not sure if that happens. I'm also thinking about taking a short into the low of the day break, which is what we already have. The low of the day right there, that's 136.50s or so there for SpaceX. Low of the day break, now down 5%, and still nothing halted, but we did see that on TikTok about Battle. So let's go over and have a quick little look at this one. And oh boy, see, here's another name, like once again, right? Like I'm not sitting here trading imbalances. I'm not sitting here trading these names, but we did talk about it earlier. A break of Battle up here at I think it was 180 or whatever it was in the pre-market. No, it must have been whatever this level is. 170 there probably gets this name going, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, we break it. Forget about right off the open. It was after that. We hadn't really been wrong on that break of 170. I mean, it would have came back in. It would have gone down to 167 or so. So there's an opening range break on Battle again that would have worked out. So yeah, lots of different styles for different people, but you know, make sure that you figure out what you're trying to do at what time of day. I think the time of day is obviously something that's very, very important as well. The imbalance is still GDX looking like a buy. We talk about some of the bank ones. Yo, what's up? A bunch of hearts.
SK Hynix just broke the 153.
SK Hynix is that low? Ah, okay. So here's another name that we missed it because 155 was the short that we wrote down, and you know, again, it was just right there at 155. So yeah, I don't mind taking it if it comes back up, but there's the short side there as you've got it right now.
I just took the break. So it was that whole, well, if it puts in another trend down into a flat bottom here, oh man, every time I try to show this better for you guys by moving it over to the middle, boom. Okay, so there's your trend down into a flat bottom break. I could draw that trend line better, but who cares? You guys get the idea. Trend down. There's your flat bottom, double bottom, so breakdown. We'll go relatively tight stop. Like we had a trend break, which I prefer much better to like flat bottom breaks like this. Like I don't want to give it all back, but it's been scalp trades for me on this. Like get in, take your $1.50 to like each time in that range every single time rather quickly. So every time I've been in it, I've wanted it to work almost right away. Like get in, doesn't go against, straight down. And so I see this bottom in here, and again, I'm just thinking it's another 150 to 2 scalp in there. And if it works, great. That'll be like the 4th time that we take that scalp trade. If it doesn't, then we go 3 for 4 on it, and I've got my defined risk set up. So that's what the idea is going to be. So it's a relatively tight stop. But each time we've gotten fortunate. We've had it long with some tight stops. Sorry, short with some tight stops. Haven't had a long in this stock since Friday, which was fantastic, by the way, that long. And one more note about like there's something that I'm started thinking to myself about these IPOs. I know this wasn't technically an IPO. It's really just that if you have something that's working, staying consistent with the strategy. Because I was having a discussion with like another trader, and he's like, oh, you know, he took more on SK Hynix than he did on, say, SpaceX. And I was like, yeah, like, I'm not saying I would have, but I didn't like the amount less that I took. Like I I don't think I had like a rhyme or reason for it. Like I ended up taking like, I don't know, 12%, I think it was, 12 to 15%. When it's like, okay, well, did I really like it even like that much less? Like I should have taken 30 or 40% or half. Like that's reasonable because it's still a very good performing strategy. And it's such a binary trade. It's such a defined risk, which it instills automatic discipline if you trade it the way that we're looking off the open, willing to get wicked out and all that kind of stuff. So, that was one thing that kind of gets me. And the other one is, not necessarily ignoring all the IPOs that don't fit, but I think one of the best parts about this IPO trading that's been happening is avoiding some of the dogs that are out there. And sometimes there's these smaller ones that'll work, but you know what? Sometimes you got to say no to those because you're only looking for the ones that are the high probability, and doing a good job with them just probably need to have a little bit more on in that trade. I also didn't like how many outs I had in the opening candles. I took twice as many outs in the first 3 minutes than I usually do. That was another thing, a little too aggressive on getting out. Let's go to Adara at the desk.
Keep an eye here on USO. Comments here being reported by Tasnim, an Iranian media outlet. They're saying that several, quote, violating vessels were targeted in the Strait of Hormuz. So again, Iran now sounds like targeting, quote, violating vessels in the Strait. Unclear the countries of origin of these vessels. If we get more details, we'll let you know. But again, this conflict does wage on, and USO continues to consolidate near, though slightly off of high of day.
All right, I finally went short there on SK Hynix right now. Just enough is enough. Like I should have already had the 155 there. I don't have it, so I'm pretty sure this has. I'm not pretty sure, but I know it has a good opportunity to bleed here down the rest of the day. So it just went into 152.20 right there. We'll see what winds up happening. I think we'll just stop out if momentum dies up here about a buck away from us. So if this dies around 153.80, we'll watch out for that 25 period moving average. Maybe try to get a little bit more in here at 153.50s if it does come back up to that level. But yeah, I mean, I had my offer there now at 155 after I saw that. And then I just was kind of like, yeah, I don't think we're going to get it. So let me start the short right now on SK Hynix. So I will be scalping some out at 152 flat and then hoping for obviously a bigger move down right now. So we'll see if we can get that. But hey, man, we're into the short right now for the first time today in SK Hynix. Meanwhile, the market, as we had sort of said already, was going to be a downside day. There it goes as well, down to the downside. So there goes the TQQs. And here comes SK Hynix, man. Let's see if we can get a bid at 152, and then we'll see where it falls from there. So, yeah, I saw you reading this. What's up?
Yeah, thank you, David, for the super chat here. Of course, love to share the wins, but today you made mistakes, and it's okay to put yourself in the penalty box if you find emotions running over your logic and rules. Dave's dumb trade of the day. So, you know what? Here's the reality. It happens. Winners happen. Losers happen. Putting yourself in the penalty box, I think, get down.
Go.
Get down.
Yeah.
Tag it, tag it, tag it, tag it, tag it.
Beautiful.
One of the things about having rules is for like some people are like, okay, well, you could hold every single one of your shorts and it would work.
Let's go.
Fine. But like to me, I've been able to scalp $6 out of this thing like every time. Just $1.50, $1.50, $1.50, $1.50 each time clean on SK Hynix. So just know your rules and know your style. Like if I'm going ridiculous tight stop, really tight stop, really tight stop. This one here, just so you know, there was a 155 break. My stop was at 155 because that was the level I liked. So when it broke up, it was like back down through 155 with a stop at 155. Like I haven't given any trade in this thing more than 50 cents. So when I get my 3-to-1, boom, in, out, bingo, bango, bongo. And at the end of the day, you're really just trying to stay within your rules and get as many clean trades as possible. And that's what it's all about. So Dave, I love you talking about that. I love you showing that for sure. Because ultimately, how the market judges you, not how you're going to be judged. That's a different story. How the market is going to judge you, and this is true for any trader, it's going to be what happens when you are wrong and what does that look like. And you have to be able to say, okay, take the winning trades that you have, but when you have those losers, you've got to have rules that minimize the losses relative to what you get out of it, right? So like if I'm in a trade and here's a losing trade, Like if I'm in a trade, I'm giving it that. Well, see, when I'm winning, I've got to be holding for that move. I've got to be holding for that move, holding for that move, so that you can actually have relative wins, like wins relative to the losses you would have taken on that stock. And every trade's going to be their own. I think we heard that we're going back up to the desk. No? Okay. Maybe not. Oh, we are going to the desk. Let's go to the desk with Sia.
Thank you. Quickly, let's look at the money markets here. So we have the pound and the euro gaining ground right now. Reuters reporting that the pound is at a 1-month high versus the dollar and at a 1-year high versus the euro, while the euro has also been rising against the dollar in these recent sessions. Let's also take a look, before we just wrap this up, what the dollar is doing right now. Climbing a little bit over here, a bit of an uptick around the 101.28 region. The dollar is still holding a bit steady, up 0.31% on the day.
Caught me stretching.
Yeah, I wasn't even paying attention. I'm apologizing.
No, my sciatic is it's bumping today. Let's put it that way. And if you know, you know.
Bruh.
Who with the bruh? Anyways, man, I'm over 40. It's basically, you know, like that nerve in your back.
Yeah, well, you're old.
You sit down all day long. That's one of the things, like you getting sciatica. And I know I didn't do my rolling every single day. We were at Wonderland all day on Saturday, which is a lot of standing and walking around. By the way, Canada's Wonderland, you know that new one, the Alpine Fury? Mm-hmm. So that ride and the Yukon Striker, the other really good new one.
Yep.
One of them was down 80% of the day.
Oh, what?
And the other was down 50% of the day on Saturday. And it's like gorgeous weather, and the top two rides were basically like done for most of the day. Vortex was down half the day.
I like Vortex too. Oh man.
It's one of Aaron's favorite rides. So yeah. I don't know. I love a theme park, but my goodness, if the top attractions are down more than half
I
the
wonder
day.
why that is. I mean, you could probably look it up. It's now owned by Six Flags.
Yeah, it is now Six Flags.
That out. No, I think it's Six Flags.
It's Six Flags now. Because I have the app, and I'm pretty sure it says Six Flags.
Yeah.
It's disappointing, man. Like we had fun anyways.
Of course, but the rides that you're there for.
Yeah, like I was sad for her.
Through.
More than anything. Yeah, it's Six Flags now.
Yeah, of course, Six Flags. I mean, I only speak the truth around here. All right, so 153 coming through. If this breaks through that level, then like I said, man, we'll try. I'm still going to try to give it to 154 now because we were able to take that profit there. We still have half left, so we're going to wait to see if a 154 breaks. Hopefully it does not, but you never know here with these markets what's about to happen. So we're going to wait on that one, 154, where we do have some more offers upside to get a little bit into that. And then if it does break, I got to actually adjust my stop order here at some point for SK Hynix because now we're going to change it a little bit. It was to be stopped up there. Then we got the fill. We'll wait to figure out what's going on there. But 154 looks to be a decent out. Breaking higher than that, we'll probably stop ourselves out. So 154 out is what I'm looking for there in SK Hynix. All right, One and Adara, let's give us that information about the European markets.
Pretty sure we all kind of know what happened last night that was pretty noteworthy in the Asian markets. But here to break it down for us and to tell us what to expect from tonight's overnight session in Asia is One.
Thank you, Adara. Yeah, Asian markets last night, major story would be that of the Kospi. Black Monday in South Korea. Kospi down nearly 9%, way below their 7,000 threshold. We had some level 1 circuit breakers, some sidecar trading halts, a lot of emergency liquidation across domestic tech boards. Basically, the whole market just shrugging off SK Hynix debut on that Nasdaq. I mean, SK Hynix in South Korea was down by more than 15%. That's huge. But as we look towards the open for the Asian market, so what can we expect? Of course, everyone's eyes are going to be on the Kospi right now. Due to their standard 2-day clearing lag for broker liquidations. So there's going to be some automated margin calls that will hit the tape on the open. And you got to check and see whether or not state-backed funds will provide a block buy cushion or not. Maybe there's going to be some deleveraging action, and that will definitely drop the index further. Another thing to note as well, as we know, CPI coming out tomorrow, so expect some defensive portfolio positioning across Taiwan, Japan, India as well. Macro desks are basically squaring their positions and conserving some liquidity ahead of that Tuesday CPI print. Any upside surprise from that print will reinforce that hawkish sentiment around Asia, and that will definitely pressure some premium tech multiples. And finally, oil. Any escalation in Middle East conflict, of course, if Brent crude pushes over $80 a barrel, that will definitely trigger rapid selling across airlines, logistics, even tire manufacturers in Asia. So keep an eye out on that.
Tech and energy in focus here, heading into that market session in Asia. Thank you once again to One for going over that for us. And if you guys want more insights from One, you can join us at 11:30 a.m. for the European market close segment, and of course, 3:30 p.m. to talk these Asian markets. In the meantime, with about half an hour to left to go in Power Hour, we're going to send you back over to the guys.
Yeah, that's not pretty 9% down, but you do have to put things into perspective. If your entire market is a couple of stocks,
yeah, I mean,
it does make it difficult not to have moves like that with Samsung and SK Hynix. Thank you. Another viewer from the lovely TikTok, and that is a good stock, and all you care about is to just say GL dubs. Oh, it actually just made a bit of a trend break. Maybe this is what you're referencing. Look at that. Consolidation, trend break here on GLW. I hate the fact that it's underneath the 50, but the good news here is it has lost the 50-period moving average to then regain and ramp. So lost the 50-period moving average. This time it's not doing the regain part that it's supposed to. Corning. But it's still early. There's a chance that it holds on to this trend. I don't like losing that 50-period, but it's still a good stock. I don't think you can... It's a quality company is what I should say there. It's not the best. Any stock that loses a 50-period moving average is not really faring that well, but that could just make it more interesting at the 200.
All right. Props up. Anybody that's stuck in with this here, SK Hynix, man, there's the reload there as we talk about, like, you know, taking very small risk here, but putting that money up. So only one trade right there for SK Hynix. Or one idea right now, and there it is off of that level, and there we go to the downside. It's SK Hynix now 63 plus cents in the money on a decent amount of shares. So I'm going to, there we go. Hey man, we'll take another piece out right there at 152 as it's coming right back in. So there's another one, man. We've got it again. We'll say shout out to everybody that's out there. Another props. Why not? Give yourself some props for short. SK Hynix right now is where we're making this name go to the top. No, it won't be the top of the board, but it's getting there for me. Well, no matter what, for me, it'll still be my fifth stock today. But anyways, we'll see what happens with SK Hynix now into the close. Hopefully more downside, as we say, more life. Again, we just want to keep on having the best life we possibly can. And there it is, 151.50s, maybe a play there for SK Hynix. And yeah, man, there it is again. If you're going clubbing, maybe you're doing it with SK Hynix. Now, almost that dollar. We just got to break through 152 right now and just trying to play off of certain levels. That's all. I'm not doing anything. You know, if making money was about how smart you were, then trust me, man, I wouldn't make the most. I'd make the least around here. So SK Hynix, waiting to see what happens now, just trying to play off levels, man, making it very, very simple. But what's helping out for today's money-making opportunities is the Nasdaq. And, you know, what's up to Easy Peasy and everybody out there as well, man, that are trying to make some money today. Look at this move on the Nasdaq. Like, sucks to check your long-term account if you're long. But, yeah, it's been a good short today on the Nasdaq. We took it first thing in the morning. We took it, well, that was 10:30. And then we took it again right here at around 11, averaged up into, again, opening range breaks. So a little bit of a concern here, I think, by a few about what's going on. But for me, just waiting to see what's going on with the Nasdaq. Don't have many shares left. We just got to fill a couple minutes ago at 72.30. That was, you know, all these fills here, low of the day, you know, low of the day again. Now we break a little lower one more time. But yeah, SK Hynix, we just took a few more outs right there. I don't know what to expect from this name. And as Neil mentioned too, like, this is its first couple days. So, you know, day 2 right now, it doesn't have much memory. So stick with, you know, what's been working out for you guys, scalping back and forth, whatever your strategy is. I'm in the scalping mode here with SK Hynix. So, you know, we risk less than $1. We try to take $1. You know, some people use 2 to 1, 3 to 1. Some people don't use anything and they just go by feel or whatever. So we'll wait to see what happens there with SK. Oh, there it is, USO.
I don't know if it's...
Is it busting?
120 or bust? So Willis, what you talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
Maybe you could, I don't, why or bust? War continues. So, I mean, the trend is your friend. If you're long oil, anywhere that you would have been long, like on a breakout or early morning, it getting to 120, it not getting to 120, does that really change anything in the aftermarket if it doesn't get to 120? I don't know that necessarily does. We need some kind of a headline or something, because there's your rounded bottom. We had Michael Noss on this morning. He always talks about the smiley faces. There is your smiley face. I don't need to draw it for you. And whether you break 120 or not, you've certainly broken the downtrend. The downtrend is broken, and it's now putting in higher lows. So,
USO.
Like USO or oil just in general, and you've got the names that are following it. You've got the big names following XOM, CVX, Oxy are all going as well. So, I'm kind of with you on that one, but I don't know that it needs to see that 120. It's trending higher until proven otherwise, and it's probably going to require some kind of a headline.
I just want to bring up,
by the way,
yeah, go ahead. No, I just saw some size on SK Hynix, so I'm starting to punch a little bit more out. There's a little bit of size there at 15s. Not that I'm worried about it. That's only 40,000
It's the biggest
shares.
size all day on that stuff.
Yeah, and so that's part of why I punched short initially, is I saw something similar to that, and it was breaking, so I just executed against that trade and went short. But I just took some out there at 17s actually, I think it was 19s ahead of that price. So if it breaks, there it goes, it's gone. So I just want to give everyone an attention there that's sort of what we're doing right now. We're in the money on this trade, obviously, waiting for it to break back down through 151. But yeah, I guess that size didn't mean a whole heck of a lot. Just wanted to show it to you. Those are things that I'm looking at there on the level 2, and just goes to show it's not always.
The other key is if you saw on Sean's level 2, that was NSB. Like, that's Nasdaq. Like, that's one of those gateways that, like you're just displaying on Nasdaq for abnormal size. It tends to sometimes mean a little bit more. Blicky Spheres, really appreciate all the info you guys provide. Well, let's provide you with some more information. In less than 10 minutes, the imbalances are going to come out. There's a few names that are mildly interesting so far. I mean, XOM, 1.2 million buy. Hey, surprise, there's an energy name with an imbalance. NCLH, that's a little bit more interesting here. So 1.1 million sell, oil prices go higher. Do you think that's good for the cruise lines? No. QSR, about 1 million shares to the buy side. The early look favors NCLH. I know Pfizer's 4 million shares, but Pfizer has just an obscenely large float. You got to have a huge and ridiculously large imbalance on Pfizer for it to really move. But NCLH, that gets interesting, especially sell imbalance, 1.1 million, and it's trying to go higher. So you could have a situation where this is ideally popping into VWAP or something, and then comes out a sell imbalance, hopefully 1.1 million or larger. If I see an early look on anything, and I'm looking to trade that one in the direction of the imbalance, if when it comes out, it's smaller than what we're all seeing here, then that's no good. It needs to be at least the same size or larger at 350. But with about 8 minutes to go, this one's on the radar. I still think there's a continuation play, maybe not this one. I've been talking more about CCL, than NCLH, because I've been looking for CCL to break the 200 period moving average and give you a second look up. It was above the 50 that I would have taken a shot if it could have held above the 50 period. That didn't happen last week. So, looking for a potential swing in CCL. That's not going to happen unless we hold that 50 period moving average. And to be honest with you, it's the kind of thing where I can just look at the sentiment and what's going on with oil and just decide not to take it anyways. Because things are a lot different today than they looked last week with the move that we just saw in oil. So we'll see what happens in the next 7 minutes for NCLH. But just an update on that CCL. Obviously, it never really held that 27 in the first place, but we were talking about it last week, so I thought I'd update you guys. Not really that interested unless we can hold that 50 SMA.
We and just want to bring it to your attention again, like SK Hynix did go to the upside. We do have 8 minutes now, 7 minutes now until the imbalances. So I'm starting to, we have a little bit of size on the offer, which is nice. I'm trying to get out right now on SK Hynix. So what's up, Juan? Hope you're doing well over there. Juan fixing the quotes for us, and this morning much better. So we're really happy with that one. But yeah, I just took it broke through there, so I took a 65 fill or whatever, and then I just took another one right now at 38 right here right now, and we'll wait to see. Now I've got on maybe 25% of this trade. I'm going to wait for a break. I'm still at 151.80. Hopefully we can get down there, levels that we've gotten filled before, and then we'll wait to see on a breakdown break down, Tatiana, break down, as we'll see if we can get to the downside right there. Joe knows what's good over there, of course. Yeah, 151.80 coming through, hopefully very, very soon. And then, yeah, SpaceX. So we got out on that break right now. We have a very, very small piece left. Watching out. I mean, if we do break through VWAP, then we'll have to go womp womp, and we'll only take $3 on this trade. But again, less than 5% left right now on SpaceX. So because the fact that we don't know where this is coming out with. And by the way, I just canceled my stop order on this trade, you know, to talk about like planning your trade, as Neil mentioned, understand like where you're getting in and where you're getting out. This was $1 worth of risk. I just canceled my stop, was 144. So right there, you know, 143 short, you know, taking obviously, you know, $5, $6, so 4, 5 to 1 on this one. So we'll stop at 139.50. We might get stopped out really soon on this one. And if we do good, not good, but fine, we'll get stopped out on that one. A very, very small piece left here on SPCX. And we just wait to see what's going on right now with SK. That's my last one. And then one small piece left here too. Let's just put some stops out in case we get run, right? So 73 right there, a stop out here for that. So that'll be $1.80 on the minimum side of that one as well. So yeah, man, so far so good here into the open market. About to get changed up a little bit with the imbalances. So right now, Pfizer with a buy. Last time I called BSX Boston Scientific, I was wrong. It's, yeah, no, that's right.
It is. I was going to say, I'm like, what?
I called it that last time.
That better not be wrong.
I think it was Sharif or something who was like, that's not BSX. And I was like, no, it is. So there's BSX there. XOM, QSR. So they're all bids pretty much, right? I mean, AT&T, sell side. And here we go, man.
Oh, market's down.
Yeah, it's SK Hynix right now. Let's go, man. We're doing it right here. Let's go, SK Hynix. This is what I mean, man. I only started trading this thing a half hour ago. And now, you know, we're starting to put some damage on the board here. Will it hold 152? We shall never know. But SK Hynix right now about to test it. Well, it is testing it. And you see how it only shows 100 shares there, yet you're seeing thousands of shares coming off here. These are called iceberg orders, hidden orders, things like that. And this goes back to that whole real trading. Like, to be able to sit here and see that stuff, like, that's where the money's made, is being able to figure out, okay, now that's broken, now what, you know? And, you know, it
was like 25 out there.
Yeah, man, we just got, well, we're at 87. We're not getting filled right now. We're under 100 shares sitting there at 87, which is why it didn't show. But it looks like that break didn't give us what I wanted to okay, well, I'll still wait. I was about to punch out a little bit more there because there it goes. All right, let's go, man. That's what we're talking about right there. Ring the cash register now on SK Hynix, man. Getting better and better as we get near the close.
Yeah, that stock is going to go.
Let's go.
It's going to go SSR, I think. If it goes SSR, then some of the game plan might change for tomorrow. Because we said last week, first day looked long, first 2 days after looked short. Obviously, it wasn't always an easy short. This morning or this afternoon, but I think tomorrow, if it gets to SSR, I'll at least entertain the idea of some longs. If it has the short sell restriction on it, a bottom break is going to be through that LOD. Yeah, technically not the low of the day, 151.30. So it's doing that thing again where it's trending down. Might be too close to the imbalances. I wouldn't take a breakdown trade on the imbalances. Then you get smoked if it does an imbalance in the wrong direction. So I'll wait till the other side here with about 3 minutes to go. NCLH, by the way, it's now gone. They paired off the imbalance. So I'm going to flip to maybe QSR or XOM. Those will be the two that I'm going to watch. Of course, in addition to SK Hynix. IBIT is still, we had it off VWAP early. We had it off the same level off the top. And then we shorted it back into this wick high. But it's not really retracing the low. So I have the stop rate in here, about 10 pennies on IBIT. So it's kind of ticking close to it without actually breaking. I'm just going to get on the bid. If it even flashes a little bit down, should just get out with 2 minutes to go here. So I think the next opportunity is going to be on the other side of the imbalances. We'll quickly go to a SIA for a crypto update. When we come back, the imbalances are hitting.
Let's talk a little crypto, send it right over to the guys for the imbalances. So the U.S. President Donald Trump's financial disclosures have shown that even as he's been encouraging investors to plow more into safer harbors and safer assets, more into crypto. I apologize for that. His money managers have been investing a significant portion of his proceeds into more safer harbors away from crypto. Also, we know that U.S. President Donald Trump had received more than $1.4 billion last year from his family's crypto projects alone. So including the World Liberty Financial as well as the Trump meme coin, which are shown in his latest financial disclosures filed with the U.S. government Office of Government Ethics. But that we have BTC currently down 2.6% at the moment, trading around the $62,000 region. We have ETH down 2% as well, trading around the 1,700 region here. We have Solana that is down 2.6%, trading around $74.8 region, followed by XRP down very close to 2%, trading around $1 mark.
All right, so I just punched out of SKX by accident there, so I just punched back in. So if you're wondering what why my price has changed, I'm not going short here. I just wanted to hold it into the close to see it. My stop is now 153, which is where the short is. I punched out there by accident. I put the wrong stop in. So, that's why we're back short 152.31. If you were wondering, I don't think anybody's actually following the trades that closely. And then we did get another piece out right there. Just didn't want to risk, again, even just losing 20 cents, not worth it. We'll wait to see what happens with SpaceX right now to the downside. But here we go, man. Only 30 seconds left until these imbalances hit.
Yeah, we'll see in less than that, actually. And for those that are wondering, SGov, I know we always ignore this one when it's up there, but that's because it's like a treasury, so it's not really going to move all that much. EWY did pop up for a buy of 1 million, so that wasn't there before, but we'll see if it's still there now. We've got Intel with a 2 mil. Nvidia, 2.7 million. Forget about it. Who cares about Intel? 2.7 million to buy on Nvidia, 2.1 on Intel. Okay, fine. Some people might care about it. Pfizer still 4 million to the buy side. XOM, 1.3 million buy side. The aforementioned EWY, 1.1 million buy as well. Overall, I mean, Marvell 900,000, so it's a 2 billion buy overall.
Oh, wow.
Kind of figured it would be. Mag 7 only 340 million. Led by Nvidia. So 2.7 million on Nvidia gets you that move, immediately retraced. Went 204 to 205, right back into 204. That is how quickly the algo soaked that trade up. There's not even a reversion trade available at 355 if they're going to do that nonsense. So you know it's a weak market when they just immediately slam that down on a good bounce there for Nvidia.
Yeah, huge move higher right there, and this is why you get out. Look at that. Breaks through 153, so we don't even take a hit on SK Hynix today. I mean, that last one's going to look like a hit, but remember, we were short at 153, so we get out. Literally, I think I got a great price. I actually got 153.01s on the way out.
Well, that's about as good as you
So, yeah, no losing trade there on SK Hynix today, and we just took it twice. So, two kind of quick scalps there, and then out on that last move, just a little bit higher. Then the market started to blast up, right? So SpaceX we got out of as well, so perfect. Honestly, like holding it all day, we'll do that. Short sell restricted. The minute a stock goes down 10% there, real J right there. The minute a stock goes down 10%, all of a sudden you can only short it off of the ask. You can't go ahead and attack the bid. So you can't put an offer at this price and get short, but you could right now because it's only down 8%. So if it does go down 10%, then that won't happen, and it takes 2 days to reset itself, and then on the third day you'll be able to go back and do that then. So that's what that means, and great question there. Always ask if you're uncertain. But yeah, that's what's happening there, and the TQ is about to come out as well. But wow, what a great day, man! No red stocks today. At all, and all pretty big ones, man. I mean, Apple was, yeah, thanks, Joe, appreciate it. Apple was a big one there. SK Hynix, good big one, I guess, depending on who you talk to. SpaceX right there, the best today for me, P&L wise. Actually, I made the same amount of money on the TQs, on Apple, and that's about it. And then SpaceX was the bigger one, and then just underneath all those is SK Hynix. So we'll go 4 for 4 today. And it was a good one. So, yeah, it's been a great start to the month, obviously, because of SK Hynix and SpaceX. Yep. And then July was already, for me, pretty much a record. We talked about the amount of, what we wound up doing, in June, what we did there on SpaceX. So really proud. As Neil mentioned,
this is July.
Know where your bread is buttered, and that's why we absolutely just completely went as hard as we could there on that SpaceX IPO. And You guys were there, so you saw the damage that was put on there. And then SK Hynix as well, man. We did pretty good on that one as well. But yeah, so right now out of that, we'll see if we can get back into SK Hynix tomorrow. But yeah, man, all good today now. 4 for 4, we'll take it, but it doesn't really matter. You know, at the end of the day, you look down at your net and you can see if you've traded well or not. And sometimes I even feel like I trade well, but you still wind up losing. You got to follow your rules and make sure that you are, you know, in the right space at the right time. And I don't think I'm going to be on Eli Lilly anytime soon. This name really hasn't done anything all
own
day.
Own it, don't trade
today. It. Downside, yeah, this is a big time.
Own it, don't trade it.
As well as Apple and Nvidia and all those names. I think those are big own names. But I own and trade Apple and Nvidia. But yeah, Eli Lilly, just too big of a gap. You know, the best trader around here is Adara, and she trades Eli Lilly. So you got to watch out for that one. So shout out to Adara.
Yeah, and by the way, I love the comments in the chat. My bread is not buttered. Yeah, for the jokes. But at the end of the day, it really just does come down to finding what works for you and staying in your lane, ultimately. You know, that's why, you know, like SK Hynix, it might only be good for a week or 2 weeks, but you don't know how long the hype is going to run for a name like this. Cerebras was good for like 3 days. It was the IPO open day, and then there was like 2 more days that were great for shorts, if you could even get fills. That's one of the better things about SK Hynix and SpaceX, is Cerebras was a fantastic short on day 2. I don't think you were here on day 2,
no.
But it was like the greatest short opportunity ever. Like nobody got filled when it broke the even dollar at the open. Like it broke the first $5 even dollar. You put a stop order in, it was $5 down almost instantly. Like I don't think a single person I talked to got the fill. You had to wait for it to come back up and sort of take it against you, which was, it was fine. Like there was like $15 and $20 winners there, but you had to hold it like 3 to 5.
$15 or $20 winners. I like to hear that.
Yeah, but it's like but that stock was like $300 and something.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Good opportunity.
That's what you have to remember. Like the stock is, and it's not going to move like that anymore. Actually, I don't even realize what the heck is that even trading at.
207.
Where is it right now? 207. So, you know, that's another case of an IPO recently where you'll hear us talk about how great the long was, and for about 5 seconds, it gave you 10% right away. It has been an absolute loser every day, basically since then. Nothing about this looks good. A little bit of a bounce recently, though. Yeah, Cerebras was fantastic. The only thing that sucked for Cerebras was you had to take that out when it halted up. That's one thing that I learned. If I ever see one of these things immediately give you 10% instantly on a halt up, you've got 15 seconds before it halts. And that's plenty of time to calmly decide how many shares you want to get out. And I sat there and watched. I took out I think I took out 20%, and then just sat there and be like, this is going to be the greatest trade ever. And I should have probably taken out at least half. At least half. It's a free 10% when you're risking, I don't know, 1 at most. So that was one learning lesson for myself. Like if we had seen a halt up on, which we didn't on SK Hynix, I was locked and loaded. I was taking out minimum 50% on any kind of a halt. That's one thing I learned. You have to try to get better on each of those.
Yeah, you know, I'm happy to say I feel like, yeah, for sure, you know, we're getting a lot better on them. You know, like I think my biggest trades last year were IPOs, and then we basically dwarfed it this year. And now we're going to wait to see what happens. Is hopefully OpenAI and Anthropic can come through. All right, so
I'm less optimistic.
Yeah, I'm not that optimistic about it either. But that's why we're developing trading strategies here for you guys, and hopefully you're developing your own every single day and just making that cash, right? I mean, it's difficult to come in every day and look for trades, but if you prepare your watch list properly, we have videos out about that. You know, you have confidence, you share size properly, you know, you can hit those winners. So everybody that's read today, you'll be back tomorrow, man. Just keep some of that, you know, cheddar around so you can spread it around there tomorrow. I think it's, again, a great day trading around here, and I just hope that we can, you know, analyze our trades today and hopefully put on just as good ones, if not better ones, for you guys tomorrow. So we say good game today as we wrap it up for trading. Pfizer with a buy side, 3 million shares, not really much going on there at all, but we'll wait to see up 1.3%. Pfizer's been really beat up, and again, I think Josh Brown's maybe stopped pumping this one because he couldn't get it to go, but we'll see up here, $28, the high there for Pfizer, it looks like over the last little while. Nvidia, sell side, really disappointed with Nvidia today, obviously, as you know, it did get back up to that 210 area, then just big time flush not good at all. But like this is my kind of trading down here at 203.50. How many times are you going to bounce off there? That gave us multiple opportunities. So we'll look at Nvidia tomorrow at some of these levels there as well.
Why have Pfizer when you can have Merck? I'm trying to figure out why anybody would.
I don't know. I don't know what's in the pipeline.
It was no, but I'm just saying they had exactly the same chart pattern in the back half of last year. The charts were almost identical, and then one of them broke out and continued going, and the other one stayed at the bottom. I don't know. Like, I'm not even talking about the pipelines. I'm just like,
I don't know either.
It'd be like looking at Ford and GM and seeing them have exactly the same chart for a long period of time, and then one of them just goes on a breakout as opposed to the other. Well, which one would you get? Which one would you buy into?
That's why I'm like, I'm done guessing all these things, man. I just buy the best names and hold on to them. I'm not smart enough to figure out.
Oh, by the way, we have 1 minute to go. We haven't talked a lot about the IGV today. Some of the IGV stocks, I think specifically Figma had a monster day today. Shoot, that's right, our CrowdStrike is not split adjusted. Anyways, Palantir was having a pretty good day. Yeah. CrowdStrike, now I have this issue because that's not split adjusted, so I have to zoom back in. CrowdStrike had the most consolidated, like about as consolidative a day as you could possibly imagine with 1 wick bottom. Like look at the long hold here all day long on CrowdStrike. I actually have, let me go back to a 15-minute chart here just so you can see a little bit better. One liquidity grab underneath and then just pure unadulterated consolidation. This feels like a, hey, wipe out bottom, breakout play for tomorrow. All of the other software, a lot of the other software names look really strong. That's one that caught the eye. So I'm going to put it on the radar. Next time I call it up, I'll use eSignal, but with only about 15 seconds to go. The closing bell brought to you by VFS. That is VinFast. Scan the QR code. I want to thank them for sponsoring both the opening and the closing bell. Big shout out to VFS. As the market now closed, the ES might only be down 0.75%, but the Nasdaq a whopping 2% to the downside. Blood everywhere, crypto week, oil super strong today. That's going to be a good portion of the story. Whether or not you get 120 or bust on USO, you certainly hit 119, 8.5%, weighing on the markets along with chips and pretty much everything else out there. So rough start to the week, but you can short when you're trading, so it doesn't mean that trading had to be bad.
No, trading was actually one of the best days for me this month, and I just want to say thank you to everybody for watching. That's all that really matters, man. Yeah, Joe, I don't know why we think alike, man. It's not definitely not a great thing there, but we do. So too bad for you, Joe. But thank you to everybody here moving forward, man. Thank you so much, Tiffany, everybody. Fabian, get well soon. Brendo, Sharif coming in late today, and we want to thank him for doing that. He's be in tomorrow. Thanks, Neil, Adara, Sia, Joe, Brendan, who did I say? Andre over there. Thanks to One as well. And Ramin, thank you so much for everything. It's been a great day. We will check you tomorrow when we have those bank earnings. So it should be a fun one here today. Tomorrow should be a good one. It's 4:02. Get home, give your loved ones a kiss and a hug, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Ciao.
Stay hydrated. It's hot.
Yeah, stay hydrated.